Hi, I'm Peter Erskine, and the question has come up, why a DW Jazz Series drum set? Why a Jazz Series kit? Why jazz? Jazz is an ideal. It's an expression. It represents freedom, and it represents individuality. And it definitely represents a tradition and sound. And nothing will make the playing of jazz easier than playing on a drum set that sounds like a jazz drum set. Now, DW enjoyed a lot of success a few years ago when they introduced the classic series of drums, which were basically replicas of the old Radio King drum set that Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich played back in the day. I know from firsthand experience, having played on that drum set, that you play more authentically on a set of drums like that. The sound, the response, it feels like a time machine, and yet you're very much in the present. So the idea of marrying this tradition of design and tonal quality to state-of-the-art manufacturing and hardware design, well, it was irresistible to Don Lombardi and to John Good, and luckily for the rest of us, the Jazz Series kit was born. Now, the kit uses a shell construction that's identical to those great jazz drum sets of the 1950s and 60s. It's a combination of maple and gum, and I'm not a wood scientist, but they got it right. When you combine these two woods, the tonal quality is quite different from the sound you would get from a number of the other DW drums, or indeed any other drum on the market. Combined with the die-cast hoop here, this rim, the drums have no reinforcing rings, so the design elements are essentially identical to the drums that all our jazz heroes played. The added plus in all this, of course, is that a good kit is not impossible to find, and you don't have to pay a ransom for it. The drums are very reasonably priced, and they're quite available. And every kit is perfect. State-of-the-art technology in terms of the manufacturing processes and the hardware design. It's the best of all possible worlds. And I got to say, I've just met this drum set here today at the DW and Drum Channel studios. Look at it; it's beautiful. The old Duco. When I was a kid, this Duco paint finish, I'd look at the old catalogs. Despite the allure and the glitter and the gleam of the various sparkle kits and the oyster pearl and all that stuff, it was the Duco drum set that always caught my eye, and I thought that was the hippest one. And often those they seemed to be more like a student drum set. And I thought, geez, is it okay to like something this much and it's not not the top line? Well, this is the top line. And I just love the way that the drums sound. I love the way that the sound and the response makes me feel, how it makes me respond. It makes me want to play music. And that's what a good instrument should do. couple things I could point out. We have the old rail mount. I think they call it the banana rail mount, just like in the day. And the ride cymbal is also mounted off the shell. Now, so what? Okay, well, what I discovered, and interestingly enough, this is what led me to DW in the first place, was that in the quest during the 80s and the 90s, and into this new century, drum designers with all good intentions were trying to isolate the various elements of the kit. They became so successful at it that I found it difficult to get that blend that I would experience when I would sit in on an old jazz kit. Something about all the elements of the kit interacting with one another made it seem like jazz. And the perfect isolated elements of the kit just didn't feel right. The cymbals didn't sound as good to me as they do on the flush bass stands, the 6000 series hardware. It's lightweight. Hey, you know, I've had my picture on the cover of Modern Drummer plenty of times. I carry my drums to the gig, just like everybody else. And you know, I load them in my Prius, and I don't like to lift up a hardware bag that's too heavy. And I like that I can set everything very close, and for all the benefits of the stands being lightweight, they're sturdy. I can knock the daylights out of the cymbals. If you catch the solo piece I did, nothing moves. So it's just the perfect kit. Now, one innovation that the Jazz Series drums do offer, it's an optional setup for the bass drum, but you can get a lift, which gets the entire drum off the ground, and then the hoop that comes with that bass drum is cut away so that the pedal chain can move freely when you press down on the pedal. And this allows the beater to hit in the center of the head. Now, with larger bass drums, you know, generally that's not the sweet spot. But for some reason, an 18-inch bass drum really sings. And if you have the drum tuned wide open like we do here with no internal muffling, you can actually change the pitch just by dead sticking the beater against the head. This is something I like to do. Listen to this. That's dead stick. You hear the pitch go up. And the drums will follow you anywhere you want to go. You can take them uptown, downtown, wherever. The Jazz Series snare drum features the mag snare throw-off. The mag stands for magnet. It won't open up or slip into the off position by accident. It's quiet when you got to throw the snares back on during a performance. And on the other side, there's on the butt plate here, there's a 3-position switch. So without turning the adjustment knob on the strainer side, you can get 3 different sounds immediately just by changing. Go tight. So if you were going to hit really hard, you might want to set it to the tightest setting. Softer, I'd recommend that you go to a slightly looser tension. More responsive that way. And then if you want them loose and funky, so tone-wise, that's a tremendous advantage to have, and the mag throw-off works beautifully. Totally reliable. Life is good. Now, you heard how hard I was hitting that snare drum, how loud I hit it. And as I mentioned earlier, these drums will go anywhere you want to take them. And that includes pop and rock drumming. I understand our good friend Dave Grohl has a Jazz Series kit. And let's not forget that most of the Motown hits were made on a Gretsch kit with this identical shell construction, that is, the maple and gum combination of woods. So don't let the name Jazz Series fool you. These are great sounding drums. They have a specific tonal quality, but that's a tonal quality that's at home in just about any style of music. These are my go-to drums. I'm not good with numbers, but probably at least 3/4 of all my drumming I do on the DW Jazz Series kit. Occasionally I'll play the classic for some older style big band stuff, and I do have a collector's series kit for my more kind of middle of the road studio, like film stuff or pop or the occasional funk date. I look in the mirror, I don't see Mr. Funky looking back at me, but every once in a while I get to play the music. But the Jazz Series kit it's what I make all my music on, and I love the drums. I'm Peter Erskine. Go check out some DW Jazz Series drum sets. They're made in the USA.